Hi guys, this is Catie LeBlanc again. I'm going to do the tip of the week. This one is going to be about the foot. Next couple will be about the foot. We're going to talk about how there are 26 bones to each individual foot, which some of us have very small feet, and that's not a lot of space for a lot of bones. So we're going to talk about the different areas of the foot, arch types, and kind of segue into what shoes might be best for you and different stretches for different types of feet. So our first part here, we have, obviously this will be the foot, right foot specifically. We have different areas to it. So you have the rear foot, which will be your heel bone or the calcaneus. You have your midfoot, which is going to include your arch, which is pretty important. We'll talk about that in a second. And then you have the forefoot, which will have all of your digits or phalanges or your toes, whichever way you want to call them. And everybody's foot is a little bit different. The size, the width, the amount of injuries you've had to it probably will affect the dynamic of your foot. But there are three major arch types to the feet. The first one would be a pretty neutral foot type, which our lovely model has. You'll see there's a little bit of a dome shape to the arch. It has good shock absorption. This is the ideal foot type because it will have some shock absorption. It will bend and mold to the environment around you. The other type would be a high arch, which is also known as a pes cavus foot. If you think of a cave protecting you high in. The problem with that is typically it's usually more rigid, so it doesn't absorb as well as our nice neutral arch type would. So with that really, really high arch, it kind of pushes on the bones. People sometimes have some big toe problems, or the outside of their foot they'll have some discomfort or injuries with because there's a lot more pressure pushed onto that side because the arch is so high. And then the third foot type, which is probably the most common, is going to be our flat foot people, which myself included. That would be called your pes planus, so it plants into the ground. And the plus side of that is very flexible, but at the same time it's also a downside because you don't have as much give. Things don't absorb quite as well, and you're kind of stuck planted flat on the ground. And those are your arch types.